Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Britballin. I'm your host, Mike McGugan, joined by my wonderful angel of the north, Adam Wilkin. How are we doing this evening?
I'm good, mate. Good, not too bad. I'm a bit ropey, if I'm honest, like, but
A
I'm
bit opie and rope here. How
a bit
come?
ropey. I've got a bit of a cough, like tested
Oh,
though, L negative. I'm
well,
all good.
negative since 2004.
Yeah,
So everything all good in your neck of the woods?
they are, mate. Everything's good. Everything's good. But how's my Manchester B doing this evening?
Buzzing. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Yeah, excited for tonight's show. So it should be good. Obviously, we're going to recap the big game that happened last week. Did you manage to catch much of it? Last week's game?
Oh,
Any
all
of
of it,
them?
man. All of it. Everything.
Right. So
I had to
before,
leave. I had to leave a little bit for some training in the meantime. But apart from that,
yeah.
it was
Right. Well,
all
before we
good.
get into the big game, because we've obviously got people joining us in 10 minutes or so in relation to that. What would you say? What did you think much to the Filton versus Newcastle game?
It was a good game. It was a good game
Okay.
of football. I don't think either team were at the best,
No.
but I think they were both not at the best enough to still make it a good game. If you know what I mean. I think both those teams have got gas in the tank left.
Yeah. Well, it'll
So
be interesting to see because I've seen a couple of comments in terms of what will happen when they both move up and that kind of thing. What do you think from your perspective? How do you feel like that should transition for both teams?
so I think Pride go into an easier division, if I'm honest, with
Yeah.
obviously the champions as well. But I think they'll go into an easier division where I think it's going to be easier for them to stay up.
Yeah.
And I think Newcastle. I want to see what happens with Newcastle. I still think their coaching staff's really good, and I think that they're going to be able to bring in some scholars as well. But I don't know. It's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, and just for anyone who did catch the game, obviously the score was, I think, what was the score in the end? Was it 21-8 in favour of the Pride?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a closer game than I think some people would have. I mean, I think both games were closer than what people would have initially thought. But yeah, well, people who weren't in the know, let's say.
Yeah.
No, pretty good game all round. Kind of an expected result. Maybe Filton aren't the team we thought they are, or potentially they'll just get better on. Maybe Newcastle will just a little bit better.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think both teams have still got stuff left in the tank that they could have been with on the day. A few things for both teams didn't click, but it was a good, solid game of football and showed that they're both deservingly are going to the Prem.
Yeah, I mean, from your perspective, you watched a little bit more of it than me. Any standout players for people to watch for going into next year, or just?
I mean, if you're looking at Newcastle, they've got two quality receivers. They've got a good lineman. I don't know if the lineman's still there next year. Good quarterback, Henry. He likes to sling it.
Yeah.
And he's got good, quick feet as well. So he's going to stand them in good stead. I think they need to bolster up the line a little bit more. But no, I think Newcastle they've got some really good players as well. But I think they know where they need to improve. Pride. I think Pride. This is going to be a bit of a shout for people because this is going to get people's backs up. But I think they started with the wrong quarterback.
Who started?
Benzie.
I mean, he's a bit of a Pride legend, isn't it? And then who finished the
game? Josh.
From
Alsbrook.
Oh yeah, from Tamworth.
Yeah. I really rate Josh. Josh is a hell of a player, and he's going to be there for time to come as well.
Right. But, so did they play better? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was working late that day, so I didn't really see much of it of that game. But was the second were they better with Josh running the show or?
No, it's not. It's not that. I just think he could have got into his stride a bit more. You know what I mean? Like I like watching Josh. Josh is a really good, fun quarterback to watch. So it's one of those. But again, they've got I think it's Fermi. I think plays for them as well. They've got some big guys on the line. They're stacked. Do you know what I mean? They get to play football a lot.
Yeah. No, yeah, and they do get to play football a lot, and obviously, like I said, 4 days a week. So hopefully they'll ramp up a bit. I'm not going to say they wasn't good. I don't know. Maybe I expected more. Is what I'll say.
Yeah, no, I get that. I completely get that. But also, a team like Pride can make the mistakes they make.
Yeah,
But they've got the coaches and Ben Herod and the likes of Fitz and Ash and stuff down there that can make the adjustments anyways. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
it was a good
No,
game.
yeah.
It was a really good game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Obviously, there have been a couple of other games I've seen kicking about. Two more uni games. Obviously, the BUCS did 2 North Conference final, which Liverpool Raptors went out to a 32-3 kind of romp in there of Glasgow Uni Tigers. Kind of said what everything needed to be said about the whole kind of other pictures and other side of things, didn't it?
Yeah,
when you're talking about. Sorry, what I meant there, I kind of fluffed that. But what I meant is, you could just see there's different strengths in different divisions. Sometimes you can get that coach through, can't you? And then obviously Liverpool were playing in a fairly competitive division of what he's seen with MMU.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, I feel quite bad for Liverpool because they've went on and won the thing, and they still don't get promoted.
Crazy.
Yeah. In Glasgow, I don't think we're the best team in our division. I think Edinburgh were, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But they went out to Liverpool as well. So it's one of those things. Glasgow couldn't get the run game going. I was watching it. And that's Glasgow's game. They run the ball down your throat all day. That's all they want to do.
Yeah.
And they'll occasionally pass it and hope that you're biting on the run.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Liverpool's D line was good enough not to send the house to stop the run.
Yeah.
So it's one of them.
And then obviously down south. I'm finally going to get this right. The Greenwich Mariners 19, not Greenwich. Greenwich Mariners 19.
Call them the one there. Down that far down south. We can do
Bournemouth Uni Bobcats 37. I said I like Bournemouth halfway through the season just because I went there to work once. So Bournemouth became my unofficial team, and everyone knows.
Went to a festival in Bournemouth once. Yeah, it's class down there, man.
Yeah, this is my thing. You know, wherever I visit, you give me a bit of free merch, I'll support you. I am very fickle. I am easy. So yeah, buy me things, make me look pretty, and I'm more than happy.
I haven't had a chance to watch this Bournemouth game yet. I am going to go back and watch it though, to be fair, because I'm pretty sure it was on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a chance to watch it, so I'm sorry. I'll comment more about you next week.
And see how it goes. Yeah.
Work life and that.
That work life. We're just waiting for a couple more of the UWE guys to join us before we kick off to the main side of it. There was one other small game. I was pretty impressed by this. Moving over to the senior side of the division, obviously UWE. Northumberland. Am I saying that right this time?
Yes, yeah.
Northumberland Vikings. Yeah. They went out and beat Iceland's Reykjavik, I think, team. I mean, to be fair,
it was Vikings against Vikings, so it was both Viking teams, yeah. So and Northumberland came out winners. They looked well, to be honest. They looked really good.
Yeah, they did, to be fair. We played them pre-season last year. Oh, no, not pre-season. We played them.
It was a slightly different team.
Oh, was it? Right, okay. Yeah, they did look good. That receiver impressed me as well. I'm going to forget his name. I think he wears 85. Really strong boy. Looks a bit older. Tough physical receiver. Caught 2 touchdowns.
Ross Connolly,
Ross Connolly, yeah.
He scored a few in that game as well.
Yeah, he looked good.
He did. Aaron Wall, that keeps commenting. He had a good game. He had a few receptions, and then the guy that he keeps tagging, Jack Mulholland, he done really well also.
Right, okay. I was wondering what this was about because this Jack Mulholland had been tagged about 28 times in everything that we're doing. So
yeah, I think it's because Jack messages to ask if I was going to watch the game. Yeah. So I don't know whether. I mean, we shared it for them. Well done. I mean, I was a bit disappointed that there's players that I don't think is actually going to play for the Vikings this year in part of the team. But apart from that, it's a good game to watch.
Yeah, it was. Enjoyed it. Yeah, very good. So obviously it's getting on now. So what we'll do first is we're just waiting for a couple more of the UWE guys. So we'll introduce the very on time University of Nottingham guys. So they're here on time. Might not have won the game, but definitely came here before the UWE guys. So that's a dub for them. So I'm going to introduce them one by one. Grant, welcome to the show. Long time friend. Got you right there whilst you're drinking. All around good guy. Welcome to the show. How you doing, mate? All right?
Hey guys, you good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Microphone okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's good.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Like Mike's looking like Mike was looking vacant. Like this guy's not even.
No, it's
talking.
just
Yeah, I'm good.
No, good to have you, show. Thanks for joining us.
You got me on Team North as a inside sevener.
I know this is it. You good for hooking me up.
Don't tell people you're a Southerner. Don't. You're part of Team North. What are you playing at?
He's all right. I think he's frozen. I hope he's frozen. Well, whilst we do that, we'll bring in Coach Tom Snee. How are we doing, Tom?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
A good, long time no see. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Still a bit sore from last week, but we'll get over it.
Yeah, the best two things to come out of Huddersfield Uni right here. The only two things to come out of Huddersfield Uni, I think.
Whoa,
it's a very shallow Hall of Fame, shall we say?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, you forget someone massive.
Nope.
Britballin tubes.
Right there.
I know, yeah, I'm right on the Britballin tubes. All right.
Britballin tubes.
Yeah. He's only
bigger than us.
Yeah, it's true. And then welcome to the show, Josh and someone named Kev. I'm just going to go with Kelvin. Am I right to go? Is right, Kelvin, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll just go someone named Kev. Welcome to the show, boys. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. Blessed.
Good.
Yeah, really good. Beautiful day today. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, after a tough loss, thanks all for joining us. But just whilst we got you, I think we're just waiting for some more of the UWE guys to join us. I just wanted to capture your thoughts on the game last week. I'll be honest in speaking on behalf of Britball. I think you were massive underdogs, but I know you guys all knew you wasn't underdogs. Spoke to a couple of you guys before you played, all very quietly confident and really turned up to put on what can only be seen as probably one of the greatest Britball games I've ever seen anyway. So, Josh, what was it like being in the game? Leading up to the game, what was the prep like? And then into the actual game, obviously, you went out and punched him in the mouth, let's say, give him a bit of a shock. So how did that go?
Yeah, so going into the week, we obviously prepped really hard. Throughout the season, we knew that was probably going to be the team that we'd see in the final. So UWE, obviously, we knew they had guys on both sides of the ball. They had speed, athleticism, good coaching, as well as size. So we knew that we had to do something a little different. So a lot of what we were doing was trying to get them with our scheme. So throughout the week, installing different personnel groups, a lot of one personnel, a lot of five wide, and just trying to get them in their weak spots, which is not many places. So just being able to, we saw a couple gaps here and there that we knew that we could exploit. And I think that for the most part, we did a really good job of that. Granted, throwing 4 picks really isn't the best thing to do during a championship game, but I still think I'm so proud of our guys. I mean, throughout the game, the attitude, the effort was amazing. That entire week, the focus was there. People were showing up to film an hour early, trying to just understand exactly what we need to do. Guys knew exactly what the scouting report was. Guys were locked in. It was a fun environment. And then game day came around, and obviously everyone has the butterflies and the jitters, but our guys came to play, and that was an unbelievable game. And granted, like I said, I wish we won. I wish we came out on top, but I couldn't have been prouder of our guys. So.
Yeah, it's a great Nottingham accent you develop in there as well.
Been working on the last 15 months. Yeah.
And Kelvin, obviously leading up to the game, I just wanted to get your thoughts on. Obviously, you guys have both played stateside. What was the prep like compared to what you're seeing, stateside in terms of preparing for the game? Was it as good, the same? Is the stuff we can still implement?
I would say it was very comparable because, we were all focused. We were determined. We were ready. I feel like the world was against us, as far as like UE was going to win and everything like that. And it just made us motivated even more to just like try to give our best efforts in the game. As far as like comparison to America, I would say it's the same. I would say like we could have like did a little things differently compared to America, but I still like appreciate everything that we've done. I appreciate the goals and everything that we've set. So like it was really fun and it was good. I had a great time. And I appreciate UE for giving us a hell of a game. Like it really was. And I think that's the best game I've ever played in my life. And that's just me speaking factual, because it really was a great game. Like, no time to get it really was.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the best games. I think in terms of talent-wise on the field, I've never seen a game like that in Britball. Grant, obviously, you was on the sideline there, heavily involved. I've seen your antics, and you're not somebody who's ever quiet or still on the sideline. I've seen you jumping up and down and going crazy at points. From the sideline, how was that feel? And obviously, you had the full crowd behind you. How was that?
So it was good. Like, it was good to have kind of that, even though it was a neutral ground, we definitely had a home field advantage. And that was all through the day. The preparation for the day we felt was really good. Everyone turned up to the sessions, and there was real focus. And I think when we really broke down the tape when they played against Leeds, I think everyone kind of got a bit excited. It was like, okay, so this team is good, but we can definitely go and battle with these guys. And I think the whole day, like as soon as that first kick, everyone was like, oh yeah, we've really got this. And when we come in and we score, we're moving the ball. Josh is slinging them around, making guys miss and staying disciplined and kind of just sticking to our game plan. Was it. We knew that we were going to get some big hits. We knew that the refs were going to be flag happy, as you'd expect with an 8-man crew. And, with American defensive players on the field, that we're not used to seeing such hard hits in the UK, is, we knew that they were going to get penalized for some of the things. And I think the game plan overall, I think Alec put a hell of a game plan together with Josh. Offensively,
It was awesome.
We stuck to the game plan on the whole. And I think what was good is that we had enough guys with confidence on the sideline, is when we started to steer away from the game plan, that we were able to just like get back on track and say, hey, like let's just go back to the script. The script work. Let's work with what we've done. So it's pretty good.
Oh, perfect. I'm just going to bring in, obviously, the UWE guys. We've got most of them there. We have a bit of technical difficulty. Anthony, thanks for joining us. How are we doing this evening?
All good. How are you guys doing? You all right?
Yeah, good. Pleasure to have you on the show. And obviously, I'm not going to make this mistake again, T. Welcome to the show, mate. How are you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing well. It's not TJ. No, that's my uncle.
How you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good. So obviously, two smilier people on the show here. Thanks everyone again for joining us and making this show happen. So I appreciate that, guys. How you feeling? Obviously, dust has settled a bit now. Still having to pinch yourselves over the moon.
Yeah, I'm up to kick us off. Yeah, obviously, I think what the guy said a minute ago is probably the main takeaway for everyone, though. It was the game itself was amazing. Obviously, for me, I was excited. We're waiting a long time to win a national championship with UWE, but in a few years' time, the takeaway is going to be how amazing the game was for the sport, and hopefully the ramifications for all the other teams will be seen for years to come. So that's what makes me smile the most.
Yeah, and T, obviously going into the game, it's fairly okay to say you guys were pretty much heavy favourites across Britball. How did you channel that? And then obviously going down early on, what was the thought process behind all that? How did you end up then?
I think there was a lot of emphasis that we put into respecting Nottingham. They're the best team in the north. They had done a number on a lot of teams, and we couldn't come into the game just thinking, hey, we've steamrolled everybody else. This is going to be more of the same. We have to really prepare for this and, watch as much film as possible. And even when those live streams got taken off YouTube, immediately we had the screen recorders beforehand so that we could make sure that went on huddle and we could break it down. And it was just realistically, it was just about respecting our opponent. I would never say that I came into the game thinking, we're going to win by 50, because I know Jason Scott personally, and I don't think he lets that kind of thing happen. And, what you guys have put on film was really good. So, we definitely took the appropriate time. I mean, we can't just listen to what everyone else was saying from the outside. Otherwise, I promise you would have lost that game pretty badly. So we needed to prepare.
Yeah, and Anthony, I have to ask the question. Will you bust this myth for us? How many Americans were on the UWE team? Because I've heard 106 at one point. I've heard 14, 22. It's been. I feel like every week it's like an old wives' tale.
I think it's 14. Honestly, team might even I don't know, 14?
Did
13?
you say 41?
I think
Yeah.
50. Yeah.
Hey, for the purpose of this video, we can say it was 165. How about that?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, I like it.
We were really upset that they didn't play the American national anthem, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a bit disrespectful, with 1.5 teams being American.
Yeah, we think the same thing when the Super Bowl's on, mate. So
No,
never mind that.
We're big fans of it because you put yourselves in a position to win with the recruitment. Just talk to people watching. How do you go about that in terms of recruiting stakes? I don't even know where to begin, but anyone can answer this, from obviously Grant to how does that work? Do you just go out and put film out, and then guys, what happens to bring you guys coming over?
Well, I could say for me that I went on NCAA jobs actually looking for a grad assistantship. So I wasn't really looking to play football. It just happened that I stumbled upon, they was looking for athletes, and I just applied for it. And then literally the next day, somebody named Phil just emailed me, and then I just emailed him back, and we just, exchanged contacts, and then it kind of just happened at the end of the day. And then that's how I was able to come over here and just, test to see if I could still play the game of football again.
No, it's a pleasure to have you guys over because you're really raising the standard of the game over here. And Josh, similar story for yourself in terms of, and how's it been for you, the experience?
Yeah, I actually had a couple friends when I was a freshman. They were seniors in college at my college, Occidental, and they came over here, did the thing at Knott's, got the same master's as I did, international business, was on that Div 1 team that actually beat UE in the final. Not trying to throw shade, just that was the season. And
just straight facts. I like it, Josh.
So that was the team they had a Penn State guy, they had a Syracuse guy, a couple Lehigh guys. So that was a really, really good team Knott's had. And they had an amazing time, got to travel around Europe, and I was like, I want to do that. I'm not done playing after my senior year. So yeah, that's how I got involved. My boys came over before me.
Nice, I like it. And T, you've been around the game for a long time. From your perspective, I know you've been around here for a bit, mate. I've been here a while, and I know your face. So, what about yourself? Best game you've ever played in?
It's definitely up there. I played in a couple Senior Bowl finals, and those were pretty good games against the Warriors. So, this was, it was up until the last minute and a half. We really didn't know what the outcome was gonna be. So definitely up there as one of the best games I've been part of.
Yeah, good. And Tom, from your perspective, obviously just getting into the game a little bit, it was back and forth. For one, nobody kind of knew. I was watching it. I was in my bed, and I just couldn't believe what was happening. I'll be honest, guys. I'm sorry, I was supporting Nottingham just because of the North and that. And Jason sent me a hat, so I'm all right to say that.
North.
I'll confess, I'm easily bought. Don't worry about it. So, Tom, what did you think to the game in terms of from a spectacle? But then I do want to get into the elephant in the room, which I believe was the referees in the game. I want to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, in terms of the spectacle, I can only echo what the other guys have said. I've been in the sport 15 years. That's the best game of football in this country that I've seen. It was a privilege to have coached in it. Going on to the referees, as Grant said, when you've got an 8-man crew, we did expect to see a lot of flags. It played out maybe a few more flags than we probably expected, but. It's one of those things where it's a big game. No one wants to see it get ruined by flags, but equally, there's calls that could have gone either way for both sides. We were chatting with Coach Pankhurst from UWE after the game, and both teams. We both said to each other, there's a couple of calls that we should have got, but then there's a couple of calls that you should have got. So I think while it was frustrating to see a lot of laundry on the field for quite a lot of time, it did really even itself out. I don't think there were any game-changing penalties on either side that didn't necessarily get matched either way. We'll continue to debate about the pass interference call on Jatori on that touchdown for probably the rest of time. But I'm
sure UWE will be saying the same on the pass interference. Was it the pass interference on the pick as well?
Yeah.
I watched them both. I couldn't see any both of them.
Exactly. That was the exact conversation we had after the game. You know, each guy we got one back on each side kind of thing. So yeah, as I said, spectacle wise, you couldn't have asked for anything more. You know, the two best teams in the country were in the final. They put on the best game of the season, and you know, of uni ball for a hell of a lot of time. As I said to a couple of the guys after the game, the sport's come a hell of a long way since me and you were playing up in Huddersfield, Mike. It's you know, it's night and day, and just a privilege to be part of the journey.
There's a comment obviously just come in there asking for my comments about the referees, and everyone that knows me will know that I sit on the fence a lot. So no, I have no comments about the referees, but if you have us on Facebook, just go back to the day, you'll see my comment. Yeah, can't even do a coin toss. Well done, lads. So anyways, I don't fancy another ban. Mike, can you introduce the last guest now?
Yeah, the reason I know, but he looks. I hope he's not driving. He's on the left side of the road. Unless he's in the, and he's not driving. All right, okay. Gabriel, welcome to the show. You'd have to meet yourself. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing this evening? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, I'm in the middle of moving actually from Bristol to London. You know, moving on up in the world, so just getting everything done.
So moving to London, does this mean you're staying in England for the foreseeable?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here about
Send the Warriors our love.
Yeah, no, I've been speaking to a couple teams. You know, I played for the Aztecs last summer. You know, living in London, I might talk to the Warriors. I might stay home and play for the Aztecs. We'll see. You know, got to keep all the cards in my hand for right now.
No, there's loads of good teams in London.
Chef's job's going in Leicester.
yeah. There's loads of good teams in London. The Warriors aren't bothered. They've already told me. They said they don't want you to play for them, so go and find some other nice team. It's all right.
I can't.
No, I'm only joking. We play against the Warriors, so no. Good luck with that. And what did you think of the game? What were your thoughts? Did you enjoy the game?
I mean, that's honestly one of the best games I have personally ever been a part of. Both teams were honestly well prepared, and it just seemed like two heavyweight fighters just going toe to toe, punch for punch. Hats off to U of N. They're a great team, great players, great coaching staff. Really gave us all that we could handle. Shouts out to the UWE coaching staff and players. You know, we came out firing. We were passionate just as much as they were passionate. You know, it just came down to, one or two plays that really sold everything, or not sold everything, but made the game. I do want to comment though. You guys were just talking about the referees. I don't know.
Whoa, be careful.
Like
be careful. I've been banned after a game. I'll be careful.
I'm just saying, I mean, the first half, it just seemed that like the head referee had more passing yards than both QBs combined with the way he was flicking that ball, flicking that flag around. But it seemed that halftime they really had a conversation, really let the boys play. So I was happy about that. But all in all, it was just a great atmosphere, a great game, and I was really happy.
I've got a feeling they didn't have a conversation. I've got a feeling they checked Facebook at halftime and realised that they'd made a very big mistake. So,
did use the quota, and obviously Gabriel playing alongside Peever, Josh's favourite receiver, I think, at the minute.
Jesus Christ!
So it's like that, Mike. Jeez. Man!
I was getting you all warmed up into it, but yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah, no.
I can't believe he's done that.
No, I mean, their secondary was good. I mean, obviously Gabriel back there at safety along with PV, number 7. I mean, they gave me some fits throughout the game. So, but, we got at the end, me and Kelvin, hooked up for that touchdown in the back corner. So that was a good way to finish it. Obviously,
it was beautiful.
My receivers. Yeah, I got to also give credit to my offense. My O-line, gave me a lot of time in the first half. Second half, UWE definitely made some adjustments on the D-line. Moving some guys around, and it was a little bit tougher, but they still stuck it out. And, if I get pressure or whatever, I never blame the O-line. They're working their asses off. They're doing everything they need to do. And they played well. And then, running back-wise, Faith had a good game. And then my receiving core, they always do good. I mean, Kelvin, obviously, he's been my guy all season. Balaji in the slot, he had a good game. And then Finn. Having Jatori back was awesome. I don't know if you guys expected Jatori to be back, but he was back. We're hoping we'd get him, and we did. And so, we had a couple big plays with him, which was good. And then, guys like Charlie Escott as well, guys who are just steady guys who I can just get the ball to. So yeah, no, I think, we executed our game plan. I think everyone executed their game plan except for me at times. But, I'm proud of our guys for sure.
Mate, don't put it down on yourself. I watched that game. You had a hell of a game, man. Like,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely class, Josh. I'll be honest. And all season, been a couple of games, been really good to see it. And one thing I will say as well, I can't speak for the UWE. I did go to watch a UON game, and Josh was one of the only players who stayed behind to actually watch the greens, which I thought, from somebody who's not involved in Britball, but he's still there to he's over here and learn and help the guys. I think it was just incredible to see. So, big up to yourself there, Josh, for doing that. And Kelvin, just talk us through that the route, because it was a glorious route. Tom and Grant, I'm sure, will tell me that it was all their idea, they planned it, but Josh kind of knew where you would be, threw it up. Talk us through what the play call was and what the play was and how it was executed.
So when they put in number 19, and all respect to him, is not trying to discredit him or anything, but he was like their lesser corner. So when we see that he came in, there was a play that we have, just 51 and go. So last time when I did it in the end zone, I turned instead of just stopping and going. So this time I just decided that I wouldn't turn. I would just run and aim for the goal line. I aim for the corner of the pylon, just try to beat PV over there so he wouldn't be able to get the ball. So me and Josh, obviously, I didn't have to tell Josh that. He just knew automatically, and that's just how our connection worked. And once I did that, he just threw it in the bucket, and then I just caught it.
Yeah, you make it sound so simple. I mean, I can run 3 yards. Never mind running what you did. It was just you could just tell. I don't know if you checked to it beforehand or was it just the matchup saw 19. He's a bit of the dosser of a cornerback and just thought we'll take advantage of it. Is that what it was? Jesus Christ, he's just won the Prem and you just called him a dosser? Yeah, well, they picked on him, haven't they? Come on, let's we're all grown ups here. They've saw 19 in. Kelvin's tapped on his helmet. Josh, look at him in front of me. The guy had great coverage on it. It was just a great ball and a great catch.
If you look at it, you can see, Josh asked me and I looked and I said, oh yeah, that's all. And I just, that was it. It's all on camera. But hats off to him though, because he did play it well.
He did. The corner really played it well. It was just a great throw and a great catch at the time. So I am not giving nothing against that DB. I thought he played a hell of a game.
He's probably a good player and had a good game, but we all
know. I'm
not
going to discredit him,
I get it.
Don't worry about that. And see, obviously, we're seeing. I watch the box a lot. Obviously, I play offensive line. You guys, I noticed second half that the pocket was just a lot less for Josh. I think a lot of Josh's picks, I don't think were really on Josh. There was a lot of pressure in his face. He was trying to make things happen in a close game. So whilst the DBs are excellent for UWE, I think a lot of that was due to the pressure. And the DBs just kind of got credit for that. So what changed in the second half for you guys? I've seen you pinning your ears back a lot more. Did you just kind of know that what they were going to do, or what was it?
Yeah, I mean, we just from breaking down film, the one thing that we could say confidently is inside run is not what they like to do. They run a lot of counters against a 3 front. They would run a lot of dart into that other side A and B gap, and their twin towers, their tackles, Frank and Lewis. I've been around those guys. I've got a lot of respect for those guys. They will keep that pocket as clean as possible, and it's a 3-on-2 in the middle. So what we started doing is just because we realized that, they're not going to run behind the center, not because he isn't good enough to run behind, but that's just not what they've been doing. We're just going to go in 2-3 tech and let it be a one-on-one. And, shout out to my boys on the D-line. My whole defense is great, but the boys on the D-line, there's a lot of young guys on the D-line. And I just want to put this out. Our D-line is all British except for Darian. So of our 9 defensive linemen, you have Billy, who played Tamworth Juniors. You have Amrit, who played Tamworth Juniors. So, they got Jason Scott back. Good for them. You have Josh, who was at Sterling and Birmingham before. You have AK who played at Nottingham Trent, so some bad blood there as well. I'm British, and you just kind of Ola came from NFL Academy, so these are all guys who, just given the opportunity, they wanted to put on a show, and we started to rotate a lot more, just remembering how deep we are at D-line and making sure, like, okay, if the center is going to choose, let's not make an obvious choice by having a one tech. I'll go in that one, or we'll have Josh playing a 3 and Amrit play the other 3. And really, we just told the guys, listen, if they are going to run for the whole game, then we'll adjust to it. For now, they're passing, so let's just go. Let's make him feel a bit more uncomfortable. And I got to shout out Kieran, number 50. He might be one of the scrappiest offensive linemen I've ever played against. He knocked me on the side a few times in some of them double teams. One-on-ones were a bit different, but I still respect the hell out of him. So
hey, one thing about Kieran was our backup running back. He's never played O-line before. He was a running back all the way up until this season, as well as Dan Long was a backup linebacker, our other guard. So those two guys,
number 56. Much respect to those two, because that offensive line, the entire season, they've kept Josh clean, and we saw that, so we just had to say, all right, how can we change the matchup a little bit? If we have a one tech, we're going to get those double teams, but they're not running dark. They're not running that inside zone, or they're not running power plays. So it doesn't really make any sense. They're sticking to their counters, their stretches, their outside tosses from that bunch nasty set. So we just made that adjustment, and it worked out for us in the end.
Yeah, I agree. Watching the box, a big shout. I messaged Lewis after the game. Unreal. Like, he was just phenomenal at right tackle, I think, for UON. Coach Fursman, over to you. I've got 2 questions. One, obviously the inside run just seemed to be on all day. I just didn't seem to be able to stop it, Nottingham. And the second question, well, that was more of a statement. And then the second question, what happened with the QB? Obviously, it came out for a bit, then came back in. What was that?
Yeah, so on the O-line side, we've been pretty committed to the run game for most of the season. I think going into the game, someone does all our stats, we're averaging over 13 yards a carry in the ground game, which is obviously pretty nuts. So, yeah, we were committed to that for the whole game. That kind of played well, which is obviously full credit to the O-line. I know a couple of people have praised the O-line already, but they're the unsung heroes, but seem to be getting a bit more credit over the last few weeks, which is good. But yeah, I guess the guys at Nottingham might have realised this already, but with our quarterbacks, we have 2 that play all the time. So we've got Ivan and we've got Theo as well. It's not a case of just one's the straight starter and they play every snap. We've got them for different packages. They've got like strengths and weaknesses, and we kind of move them in every single game, including the semis and the final as well. So yeah, I think it caught a lot of people off guard, but it was our game plan for the whole time. Yeah,
I mean, you could see the clear difference. Obviously, when Ivan came out, you could see. I felt like the offense works more as a whole in terms of the inside. He's not as electric, as it were. But then again, I think the offense kind of runs the way almost like you'd like it to run. Is that probably fair to say? Whereas Ivan he's one of those players, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's a fair analysis.
Yeah. So it was always the plan. So there was no kind of squabbles on the sideline. There's no story that I'm trying to dig out from you. No, fair enough. I like it.
I wish there was like a big dramatic moment where they're like,
come on, I wanted it. Yeah,
somebody each other out, but no, they're
running the offense in this way.
He broke 3 of his fingers, so he just snapped them back into place, came back on, and he was good to go. That's the story we wanted to hear. You know what I mean?
Kind of like an America's game moment. That I just strapped him up. I had 3 broken fingers. I just went back on because the team needed me. That's what I needed from you. But no, just that was the plan.
We'll edit this bit out. Let him do it again.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. So go. Yeah. He broke all his fingers, came back, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Knew it. Absolutely.
Well done, mate. Well done. Class. What are you looking forward to most about next season? So I'll fire that at Grant first.
Next season, I guess just continuing to build the program. So last season, it was my first. So I joined the team last March. So seeing how the recruitment side of things works at University of Nottingham, we're seeing more of that popping up. Every school now is doing these taster sessions. So that seems to be the new hotness, and it's good. I mean, if people are going to go to a good university, then and you're selecting two universities based on the courses, if that is the deciding factor, then great. But as I've said to the kids in the Team North, is like just choose the best school for your course. Like that's the most important thing. If they happen to have a good football team, great. If not, get your studies. But I think what's been really good, so Josh mentioned like kids like Charlie Escott, that's second year player, seeing him develop, seeing them start to take mentor roles for the newer Green players coming through for Nottingham Green has been really good to see these developing players have the ability to be mentors. So Kel has done that the whole time that he's been here. And I think what's been really good to see is the younger players learn the skills that Kel has, not just on the field, but motivating and the way that he approaches practice and pre-practice. He'll drop down and he'll give himself press ups if he doesn't make a catch and things like that. Very rarely, obviously, but just giving that how to be coached and showing people how to be coached and seeing that flow through the team is really good.
We'll just carry on that question for everyone, actually. So whether you're playing next year for UON or for UWE or whatever you're doing, just what's your plans for next year? Kelvin?
Recently, I just got like a little recruitment email from some team. I forgot the name of the team, but I'm going to possibly go out like around April 17th just to, test my luck and see if they'll accept me. As far as like looking forward to, because I still want to be a part of the university and just like, help grow the game of football and help the players as well. Like I said, to any player, because I've had players email me and like DM me like how to get better, how can I do this, how can I do that. I want to make sure that they know that you got to put in the work and the effort. You just got to want it, like not to like brag or anything, but during that whole game, I was playing with a broken thumb and bruised ribs. Like, like
there's the story. There's where America starts.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the story, feel me? But like that's how it is, And I'm not gonna sit here and say like it didn't hurt. Of course it hurt. Like it was hard to breathe. But at the end of the day, like I love the game and I love my teammates and I want them to know like if you really want to do something, you gotta work for it. You really gotta earn it. So that was just like one of the things that I want to speak on and just hopefully like get that through like players' heads. You just gotta work for it. Like you just really gotta earn it. But yeah, hopefully you guys will see me, in Spain, and if not, then I might be back here, or who knows? I don't know. But
Manchester's a lovely place.
Hey, run it back! Hey, run it back!
I'm not gonna count. I will run it back.
If you decide you want to play Adult Division 2, Gabe says your place, right?
Yeah, he's definitely busy. Honestly, yeah, it's like the Water Boy, Pelvin, if you're interested. Have you ever seen the film The Water Boy? That's what it's like. So, yeah, don't worry about that. and Josh, obviously, you're going, am I right in saying Copenhagen?
Yeah, so I actually move out on Friday from Knots, so kind of like what Gabriel's doing. Moving out of Knots, been here for 15 months because of COVID. Me and Kelvin got here a little early, so yeah, moving out, Copenhagen, fly in on Sunday, get in there, and then first game is on the 23rd against the Swedish champs, the Black Knights. So I'm really looking forward to that. Already started planning on game planning, going to get the playbook soon. So yeah, I'm ready to go for that. But kind of going off of what Kelvin was saying, this game was not just like us. If we won this game, it would have been amazing, obviously. But this game was so much bigger than just like UWE versus Nottingham. I think this game really put the game of American football on the map. I mean, if you look at the video on BUCS, I think it has 19,000 views, which is the fourth most ever for any BUCS video ever. And that's with sports like soccer or whatever, your football, rugby and all that. So it just shows like my goals. I tell the guys, my goal here isn't just to win a championship, it's to grow the sport. I mean, I helped coach the Caesars. I was training with Tamworth over the summer. I have guys from all over the country messaging me, asking how do I get better. I send videos, give film, that type of thing. I mean, the goal is to grow the sport. And I think what we did, what all of us did, what UWE, what Nottingham did last Tuesday was special. 700 people were there and more people wanted to come, but they thought it was sold out. They couldn't come. And I think it was special. So I know I'm going off the initial question, but And I wanted to make sure I said that before I got off the show. It was a special night. We lost, but I'm so happy that we got to all be a part of that. So I just want to say that.
I agree with you, Josh. Honestly, I think that from a perspective of someone who's also been here, through the whole COVID, period. Obviously, we wanted to be ambassadors for the sport and wanted to grow it out here. Wanted to compete. But after like competing during this game, this last game or whatever, it just shows that like the game is growing at a fast rate out here, and like the homegrown talent out here. There's a lot of talent out here. And I think that like at a game of that level and on that platform, I think more and more people are going to be more interested in the sport and wanting to play. And now it's up to us, like the U of N's and the UWEs, to start like developing the players that are going to start going through the programs and just bringing like awareness to the sport in general. And we'll just see how far the game will come in the next couple of years. I think it's a really exciting time now going forward.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to ever think that British American football really appreciate it too. I was looking myself, seeing like 20,000 views on that. It helps everyone. Having you guys over here playing makes the standard what we play at better. So we appreciate it, and thanks for coming over and sharing that with us and continuing to stay in the game as well, which is much appreciated. Tom, obviously over to yourself. Back with you on UON next year.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest, the most exciting thing for me at the moment is the recruitment that we've got going on at the minute. We've got a prospects day at the end of April, which gives us a great chance to look at not just guys that we want to bring in next year, but kids that are 15, 16, 17, and looking at their journey that's going to take them hopefully to the University of Nottingham at some point. And the goal, as always, with the recruitment isn't just to find football players; it's to find great young men. We've been very, very lucky to have Josh, Calvin, Jatori, who have just been. I said it to the guys on Tuesday night. They're an absolute credit to the program, and have elevated, as we said, they've elevated football in this country, and the way it's viewed by other people. And they're brilliant teammates. I can see the way that the guys look up to them, and the guys have developed just by being around them, just by listening to them, and looking at the way they go about their business. And if we can continue to bring in more scholars, or whatever it takes to make sure that we're developing the game in this country, and making sure that the guys that aren't on scholarships and that are just taking up the sport for the first time because they've seen it at Freshers Fair, if they've got examples like Josh, like Calvin, like Jatori to look up to, the game's going to be in a great place in 5, 10, 15 years.
And I'm right in saying, Tom, you guys don't lose an awful lot this year, is that right?
No, we're retaining quite a lot of guys. We had a bad year a couple of years ago in terms of losing guys just through graduation. We did an incredible job, really, and it's credit to Jason and the coaching staff before I got here to retain players through the whole COVID thing, which maintaining 2 teams throughout that period, and making sure, I think the lowest that we had at any off-season practice, last March when it was Easter and guys had exams and whatever, we were still getting 45, 50 guys at practice. To have maintained that throughout a period where a lot of teams haven't been able to practice or have been practicing in minimal numbers, that is the kind of groundwork that's put us in a position to be competing in the national championship last week, and hopefully standing us in good stead for the next few years going forward.
Perfect. And Gabriel, sorry, I know you've got a shoot and you've got to go move into your actual flat in London. And like I said, stay away from the Warriors. It's not a good fit for you, mate. Don't worry about it.
I know this Warriors coach was watching this as well. You just said that.
I don't care. Stay away from it. It's not a good place for you. Bristol's nice. So final thoughts from yourself in terms of anything, the game, the season. The floor's yours.
Yeah, just an incredible season, honestly. Both, from the UWE side, I think that it was just a special season, spectacular season. Got to meet amazing people. We have a lot of great individuals on this team, and as a collective, we definitely accomplished a tremendous feat here in the UK in the BUCS organization. I'm super happy to have gone out as national champion, but I'm even more ecstatic, to get a degree, to be out here traveling, and just growing as a human being, as a man, as a friend, as a mentor, and everything. So I'm just super, super grateful for the opportunity that I've gotten out here, and just hoping that I can give back in any kind of way. So that's the biggest thing. But one thing that I want to do say is shout out to UWE, shout out to Coach Mayer, shout out to all the coaches, all the players back home. Thank you guys for giving me a fantastic send-off and a fantastic season. U of N, Josh, Kevin, all them boys. Thank you guys for a fantastic game to end the season off and everything. You know, it's been amazing.
Bro.
Kevin, hey, Kevin, you was kind of talking a lot of trash. I picked you up though.
Kelvin.
Thank you. I was about to say, but my fault. Hey, one quick thing. You remember when I picked you up and dumped you off?
Can I talk about that? Can I actually talk about that? I'll be real, because I'll never lie to nobody. I'll tell you the truth. I got no problem talking about real shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, literally, I tried to truck you. Hey, it didn't work. And I was like, damn, he didn't move. So I was like, I bet I'm not gonna move. I was expecting normally I would just get like a group tackle. So like I just gave myself up, and then he just kept going, and I'm like, oh my god. And he lifted me. I was like, damn, that's gonna be on the film and everything. Like my mom watching and like people watching, like, and I can't even explain that, like. But I give it to you because he was one of the people that really hitting hard, I appreciate that.
I'll be honest though. Just even getting like the past how many games? 10 games beforehand. I've probably had the fewest tackles as a free safety, the starter. A lot of people do not get up to my level. Our D line swallows everything up. Our linebackers, they're all fast and aggressive. So this game, just the fact that I had, I was getting in work, I was running around, flying around, which I was so happy. But it just like gives credit to you guys, the way you guys were able to like move around the ball. You guys are a great offense. And I'm just forever grateful for that. Just when you have two great teams going at it like that, there's nothing more fun. And we were all jawing. And after the game, I immediately came up to you guys and I was like, hey, like, I love to talk crap during the game, but in all reality, it's just respect, isn't it? But again, just thank you guys. It was a great time. I'm forever grateful. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate the game, man. You balled out. It was fun.
Just before you go, man, right? Because I know you've got to go in a second. I was gonna ask everyone at the end, especially all the players, that if possible, I know you guys talk about helping the legacy in the UK and things like that. So I was going to ask if it's possible for you guys to do us a favor here at Britballin. I know you've got to do a shoot now, so you've got to go. But at some point in the next couple of weeks, could you guys film one drill for us to be able to send it to show some kids how they can get better?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. No problem.
Yeah.
Just one drill on film, so we can pass it out to some of the junior teams, youth teams around to help our sport get better over here. Would mean the world to us, one.
I'll film you two. The first one's going to be get yourself a Brian Peavy. And then two, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I can easily do that.
Appreciate that one.
I'm going to head off.
Perfect. Cheers, Gabriel. Thanks very much. And we'll go to T before to Fursman. T, what's your plans? Are you back next year for UWE, running it back, or what's
no?
the for you?
I think I've been around uni ball entirely too long as it stands right now, so I think it's a good way to leave that. I will play partly this summer with the Bristol Aztecs. And then that'll be me done with football after that. So, yeah, that's really the plans.
No, it's not a bad way to go out if you're going to go out.
Yeah,
that's done.
Yeah, I played for 7 teams in the UK, and I played for 8 teams in the UK, and I've been a part of one more, but I've never played a game for them. So I think it's about that time.
Gabe says beautiful, man. Gabe says beautiful. I'm telling you, look at that. You love that. Come on.
So here's the thing, right? You have 4 players, or 3 of which are American. I'm British. I actually know where Gateshead is. I know about the team. I know what it means to play on a rugby pitch that no one cares about in the back of the back.
We play in a stadium, my friend. A stadium that holds at least 100 seats. Right?
I'm just saying, I know what it's like. I've played you need Division 2, Division 1, Prem North, Prem South. So, and then, senior teams, EKP, Edinburgh Wolves, London Blitz, Bristol Aztecs. So like I've made my way around the country, but I think after 11 years, I think it's time to call it. Especially because we don't really start early like that. Like now we're starting a lot earlier. But I really played for real the first time at 17, 18 years old. And I'm 30 now. Oh my gosh. That's painful. But yeah.
I'm 30 now. Yeah, retire, man. Jesus, I'm 30. Look at the state of me.
Wait, what?
I'm 30.
Did I really? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
No,
that's why.
I'm 30 years old.
That's why no one lives
you
in
look like
Gateshead.
you could play our dud.
That's why no one lives in Gateshead, because you look like him at 30. That's the problem.
So this is this is a throwback. So yeah.
So me and T played together like a few times, and you guys from Knots, you've seen me throw the football, right? It's not good. So I had to go in at QB and play like 3 quarters at QB, and it was gross. It was horrible, man. Like these guys were you had like
should have just taken the walkover, Grant. Should have just taken the walkover.
Hey, I went 6 from 8, but I did for a pick 6 to lose the game. So
no, that's definitely taking it back. I can't believe. Well, I mean, you haven't said this out, but Grant has just said that I sacked him when I was at Prudell, and that's got to be like 2014.
Yeah, around then.
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. No, do you know what I love about British American football, and I think it's not. I think the American guys, once they've been here for a little bit, they come to appreciate it. Is as much as people are, as much as Baffa are trolls on the internet. I'll say it. I don't really care. Everybody part of Britball is a troll on the internet. The community is so tight that you will see that you've played someone, realize you played against them at some point, and all of a sudden you're friends. You have someone to potentially, if you reach out, I need to like come out to Manchester or Leeds. There's someone up there that I can go stay in their house if like a GB camp was in Edge Hill, which I still don't understand why it was in Edge Hill. The one time it was in Edge Hill, because Edge Hill really quay out.
There's a room in Manchester if you all come up. That's all.
I was, I live like my family's in Manchester, so if I ever need to start doing some coaching, I got you guys for sure. But yeah, it's just such a tight community. We because we choose to play the sport, right? Like, and when we choose it, we're choosing to pay for all of our kit. We're choosing to finance all of our travel. We're choosing every aspect of this. It's not like, you choose a sport, similar like what you guys do in high school. You chose a sport and then the team just has a football program. A lot of these times that you kind of have to, when we buy into it, we really buy into it. So that's the one thing I have to say I love about British American football. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of all the trolls, because people are really gangster on the internet and they end up being the worst football players. And that's the worst part of it. But even them, they make British American football special. So I am so grateful to what the sport has given me, to what the community has given me, for what I've been able to achieve, the people I've been able to meet from all around the world, really, the places I've been able to play, being a part of different teams as well. Like it's just been great. But yeah, I'm also just very grateful for the opportunities, to be honest.
That's beautiful, man. But you're gonna come play for Gateshead or what?
No, sir, you will not catch me, Gateshead. I won't lie to you. No disrespect.
That was a good retirement speech.
We've had a good comment coming in. What is it? You've got family in Manchester, back-to-back rings, what a way to retire.
Pulling up his own comment.
Is that
What?
That's a good comment.
Oh man,
you're always welcome in Manchester. It said there.
No, I know.
Just found that account.
That's really home. That's really home. So maybe one day, if I still have the itch, I'll come down. I like the blue kits. I won't lie. Those kits are fire.
Kits as well this year. Don't worry about that. Blue and white. Anyway, you're more than welcome. As is Josh. As is. Oh, it's just came back up that as well. I don't know, it keeps going up. Sorry about that. And Kelvin, if you're free, Manchester, lovely spot. And Anthony, obviously we've had a couple of questions come in terms of recruitment strategy for you guys, and obviously for UON, which we'll touch on. UON don't seem to be losing a lot of players, but we've obviously an American heavy team. It's fair to say. What's the plan for you guys next year?
Cool. So our off season starts next week. Really, I'm no longer involved with the team, so Tuesday night was my final game with the Bullets after 12 years. So I'm happy to be as transparent as I can. Mayer's leaving the UK, I think, next week. He's going to the US for 5-6 weeks, I think it is, on a recruitment trip. So I think he's visiting 43 colleges. It's like 5 states, 23 cities or something like that, all across the US. So he's going out to try and bring the best talent over to the UK to play for UWE. It's all kicking off as of next week. So it starts now. I'm sure Josh and Kevin probably say they're in contact with the coaches and the companies to do it for months in advance. It's not kind of a case of gets to mid-August, and they just decide to come over on a whim. There's a lot of kind of work that goes in before that to kind of talk to the players and kind of get the brand out there, because there's so many athletes in the sport in America that aren't aware of the UK game, and they're kind of a great opportunity for them to be a part of. So yeah, that's what we're up to.
That's crazy, that.
Yeah, shout out to the university for paying for it.
Yeah, big shout out to the university.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, what I will say, and I think kind of Josh and Kevin probably and the other guys will say this as well. Like, you look at Nottingham, you look at UWE, like the reasons, and some of the other teams of the Prem, it's the stuff they do off the pitch as well that makes them successful. It's the way that their scholar athletes carry themselves. Like, we saw some of them the next day. They were like cheering on the other supports. They're being good teammates. They're being good students. They're kind of representing the community well. It's, some of the other teams are causing shenanigans for the university, like kind of not taking it as seriously. And I think it's the attitude that Nottingham, UWE, and some of the other teams in the Premiership have that leads towards the universities giving the sponsorship and providing those scholarships and stuff like that. So it's a massive credit to the other people. It's not a short-term thing. It's not Nottingham and UWE didn't just decide, we're gonna just give a load of scholarships to American football. Like, this stuff that's happened over the years and the people that have built those clubs to get to that point.
I do have to ask, in terms of, does that, obviously it's great recruitment, in the States. What's it like in the UK? Will that be the same ramped up, or is it very much, we know it's a recipe for success with the Americans, we're okay with it, so we're going to keep doing that?
No. Like, I'd say the majority of the people we get like recruited are UK guys. I think T mentioned it on the D line, but it's the same as our linebackers. They're guys that have played before. We've got like the majority of them are English. Secondary, we've got guys who are UK. The O line, four of the main guys are from the UK, and pretty much 80-90% of the people, maybe more, are people that have been recruited to some extent, but also heard about UWE, spoken to Coach Mayer, wanted to progress in the sport, and that's what's brought them to university. So yeah, it's not just the American guys. There's the whole team. I'd say the majority of the first team is recruited because they want to progress in the sport.
I've just texted the president of Sunderland University there and just been like, "What's going on? I need that. I've got 5 footballs. I've got 5 footballs. Get us over to America. I'll bring some back cheaper."
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case.
What's it called? Kelvin was talking about Phil. Phil Wood is our recruitment coordinator for all sports. So he brings all the scholars in for whatever sport it is, fencing, badminton, etc. So he's actually in the States right now. He just left yesterday doing his recruitment trip. So I believe his last recruitment trip was in November, where he visited 7 states. So he'll be doing not just American football. He has a lot of other sports to kind of do, because I think this year we had 21 teams in the national final, which is the most ever. Yet Loughborough always wins the BUCS points because swimming and track, somehow you get more points for it. Anyways, off topic. But so we also have a representative go to the States as well to do recruiting.
Yeah, and so for people who don't know, I'm sure everyone will, but BUCS points are very much favoured towards the A teams and stuff, and that's why American football can get such a focus, isn't it? So it's not coincidence because it's weighted heavily towards the BUCS points. It can do well, whereas like rugby union, for example, you can have 7 teams and Team 7 isn't worth as many points. That's why a lot of focus can be turned into quick BUCS points by having a good American football team. So that's why people get funded. It's not coincidence. People who want to win BUCS as a whole. And where do you guys stack up in the BUCS rankings? UON, are you guys close or?
We're second. This is actually the closest it's ever been in its history. So ever since BUCS began, Loughborough has won every single year. This year, though, this is the closest it's ever been. So they're talking about potentially trying to change how swimming and athletics is done, because we're in 21 out of the 57 finals, yet I believe Loughborough is only in a couple, yet they still win every year because of those points from all the different individual events from those two sports kind of offer. So yeah, obviously it's not American football related, but it's still an interesting fact.
If you notice the comments from Ben there, that's my president just telling that messages for me. Sorry.
Oh.
So don't worry about it. Yeah.
I think it's also worth noting the respect that BUCS is now putting into American football. Like Tournier is now got a full-time job looking after BUCS American football. So like the fact that they've invested in having someone that can
yeah, we know that's you.
that can really look after the scheduling. And I know that Patches did a really solid job, but to be able to now get someone full-time, fully focused on the league and looking after all of the teams is it just shows how far the sport has come.
Yeah, no, perfect. Look, guys, I just wanted to, for me personally, and I think for Robert, well, thank you so much for putting on, for everything that you have done throughout the year, both at UWE and Nottingham. No matter who you were supporting or whatever sport, you couldn't help but enjoy the game. It was a fantastic spectacle, and it's a credit to everyone. None of us actually get paid to do this, hopefully. No, none of us actually get paid to do this. That was just a test, guys, not watching, don't worry. So none of us actually get paid to do this. So it's been a pleasure, to have you all on the show and represent the game so well. So I appreciate that. Mine's in the back of my car because I wear it all the time, I'll be honest with you.
That's where mine is. I wore it at school today, actually, and everyone was like, why are you not wearing it similar?
Yeah, so just so you know, guys, from UWE, we do accept team hats. I'm now actually on a mission to collect, like Pokemon cards, every single university.
From UWE, I want a trip to the States, mate.
I just take a hat. No, I'm not fussy.
Loan as a player. You got a spare QB, you got two.
Yeah, we'll have one.
I'll mention it.
Yeah, he's not bothered. He's retired on Tuesday. He's like, he'll mention it, but he'll fall on their face. No, so thank you very much, guys. One, for joining us, and two, for representing the game so well. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for sharing your stories. UWE, Anthony and T, I do want to get in touch because I'd love to do like an America's game special on you guys, running through every game, talking to a couple of your guys, and doing things like that for you guys in particular. Nottingham, go and win it, and you get one. That's all.
We're trying, bro. I got you.
And Kelvin, we'll see you back next year, probably in Britain. Obviously, Manchester's an option for you if you want it. Josh, good luck in Copenhagen. And thanks everyone else for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Go.
No, I appreciate you guys and everything you do for the sport in this country. It's having been involved in the media and in covering the sport. It's great to see what you're doing, and you're pushing the game forward as much as those guys are. So thank you for that.
Oh, hey, stop it, you. Delighted.
Right in the post, yeah?
Yeah. Whilst me and Tom get a room, we'll let you all go. Thanks very much, and then me and Adam will just wrap up. Appreciate you all joining us, and we'll see you very soon. Cheers.
Just drop with those drills in, guys, if you want to put them up. Just saying, love it.
And can't wait to see T in that Manchester blue this year. I think he was the only one I could convince. I think there, I could see the American guys were like, "What the fuck is Manchester?"
Manchester have a team.
Manchester have a team. What? No, good show, good game.
I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I feel bad for not wearing my hat.
I know. Yeah, Jason's gonna bat you.
Yeah, he is. I was gonna wear it as well, but it was in the car and it's raining, and I just didn't want to walk back out to get it.
Yeah.
Should we wear it next week? Should we just do like we'll change the background to gold? Yeah. Yeah, we'll just show Britball hats. Send us your Britball.
Listen, this is real talk. I want to collect every single university hat. So if you've got one just kicking about and you don't want it, I can be bought. I will wear it on the show. I'll give you exposure. And senior teams and junior teams, send me your hats. There's enough people watching. Send me your shit.
They're not going to send it.
They will. You'll be.
They're not.
I'm going to get an influx.
No, because you don't even wear your Beckett one that they sent you.
I'm collecting them all. It's like Pokemon cards. It's a shiny. It's wrapped up in the cellophane.
I've got a shiny. I got a Bristol jersey, mate.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to ask.
What you had to do for that Bristol jersey can't be said on air.
I'll just send all my freaking team to Bristol.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Right. Next week we move. We are back onto the Uniball. No, we're away from Uniball.
We're away from Uniball. We're talking senior ball, junior football, flag football. We're going back to the nitty gritty from the big bad city.
Back to the daily grind.
We're moving because there's been lots of friendlies happening over the last few weeks.
Lots of friendlies. Yes, there's been lots of friendlies. I've heard of some massive upsets in friendlies, like huge.
Me too.
Yeah, like monumental.
Yeah,
upsets.
like absolutely like legit.
Prem teams getting spanked off Div 1 and Div 2 teams.
Not getting spanked, but like there's been a couple of giant killings and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I think one of the things we should push for this year more than anything, I think we need to have that game of, like the third team in Div 1. If they don't get promoted, they can play like the sixth team in the Prem or the fifth team. That should definitely be a thing.
That should be like a championship final sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to use Northumberland, watching that talent on display. No disrespect, they are definitely better than some of the Prem teams we will see this year. Definitely, 100%.
Well, we can't talk about it on this show, unfortunately, because it's not Uniball. And as much as I love talking about Northumberland,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, right.
I like the guys there. Lots of my former players and friends and things over there.
Shout out to the defense, love you. No one cared about the defense, did they? In that game?
Well done, defense. You've done meh. I thought it was a good show, but unfortunately, time.
That's all we got for you.
Time.
It's time. It's 9:00. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week with some predictions or something.
Farewell.
Seeing you all. Love you all.
Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.